Next on our program for the outreach reports is Dr. Bill DeLauder. Okay.
Good morning. I'm delighted to present a brief summary of my outreach efforts in a visit to Cambodia. And I'll have to do it kind of quickly, and I will say that the photography is mine, so if it doesn't look professional, then you can blame me for that. But I was in Cambodia from October 22nd through the 28th, and I just show you this to remind you of the location of Cambodia as a country and its neighboring countries of Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam, and then the Gulf of Thailand. The main river systems, which is where a lot of the agriculture is okay. The main agriculture systems, which are located around the major water systems, and you see a large lake system and the tributaries that go into it, and then of course the Mekong River, which traverses the country. So most of the agriculture is around those areas. Just some quick facts on Cambodia. It's about the size of the state of Oklahoma, has about 14.7 million people, per capita income about $760. They say in terms of buying power that it's in the country about the equivalent of $2,000. About 70% of the people work in agriculture, literacy rate of about 77%, poverty rate around 31%. If you know the history of this country, you know that it had an incredible period of time under the reign of terror imposed by Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge, and the millions of Cambodians that were killed during that period of time. And then from the invasion of the Vietnamese in the country, in which they stayed for about 10 years, and the Civil War, which went on about 17 years. So when you consider these things, my impression is that they are making a remarkable comeback in the country. The people are wonderful, they're very friendly, and they're outgoing, they're hardworking, and I was just very impressed with where the country has come. When I was there, their king father, King Sihanouk, who was in power during the Pol Pot reign, and who some say was in collusion with them in order to maintain his reign, he's been forgiven, and the outpouring of affection to him when he passed was just incredible in the country. In terms of I was visiting the integrated pest management system that is in, which is in Southeast Asia, and I will say that we were in terms of agriculture, of the growing of vegetables, we were not there at particularly the best time of the year, because we were near the end of the wet season, beginning of the dry season, and much of the agriculture occurs during the dry season, roughly December through April. So that some of the things I will show you where you get the most dramatic impact of the work that is being done to improve productivity was with tomatoes as the crop, and not so much as with some of the others. The Southeast Asia IPM includes the countries of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Cambodia. Cambodia has just been added. I think they've been with the program for about 3 years, and there are a number of crops that are involved in Cambodia. Tomato is one of the important ones, but Chinese kale, green pepper, cauliflower, eggplant, and others as well. The purpose of the visit, first there was an annual planning meeting that was held in Phnom Penh from October 22nd to 23rd. At that meeting, the teams from the various countries presented the results of the research from the previous year, and then they also presented their plans for the upcoming year. And that was quite impressive in terms of the enthusiasm, the expertise that was demonstrated by the teams that were involved. After that, then we participated in field visits to the IPM CRISP research sites in 2 of the provinces in Cambodia. And then we also visited we visited, of course, the mission office to talk with the mission director. And then with the Harvest is a large contracted program, contracted by USAID to FinTrack, a large NGO. Harvest is an acronym, and I won't spell it out because it won't mean very much to you, but it's related to their outreach efforts with farmers. And so we spent our time after the annual meeting with these field visits. A couple of the dignitaries who were involved in terms of the officials, John Bowman, who is with USAID and is sort of the manager for the IPM CRISP. And I can't say enough about the outstanding work that John does. He was my travel partner, and he made it quite good for me as we were traveling through the country. Minister of Agriculture, he was a deputy administrator and a director of agriculture at in Cambodia. These are the participants by countries, and this is the whole group. In terms of a group picture of the people who were involved in this program. Again, some of the teams, and on the left, the team from Clemson. Clemson University was the lead team from the IPM CRISP that was providing the assistance in Cambodia and in Southeast Asia. Virginia Tech is the management entity for the total IPM program. I can't say enough about the help of the folks from Clemson in making my trip particularly more informative. Much of the work that they're doing in terms of increasing crop productivity is using trichoderma to contract to prevent plant disease and to improve productivity. And this is just showing you the active fungi that is used in producing the trichoderma. And then what they do is they culture this, and you'll see that on the left in the packages. They then use this either by mixing with water to spray, or by mixing with a compost in order to use on the ground. And again, it just shows you the trichoderma. This sells for about $1.25 a bag to farmers. There are farmers who do produce the trichoderma, and then they in fact sell it to other farmers, so it gives them another source of income. This is a lady farmer, and many of the farmers that we met were in fact females. There were man and wife operations as well, but a good number of the farmers that we met were females. Now, this is just to show you on some trial plots the impact of the trichoderma in improving plant productivity. And what many of the farmers said is that before the IPM CRISP methods were used in their country, they were unable to productively grow vegetables. And the result of this is that they were able to grow vegetables, and it was very productive for them. And you can see these are tomatoes, and you can see the difference between the tomatoes on the left as opposed to the tomatoes on the right. On the left, they were treated with trichoderma. On the right, they were not treated with trichoderma. What this lady farmer, in terms of what she would get in terms of income from this, and in many cases she's providing the food to a third-party provider, is about the equivalent of $1,000 a year that she can earn. She also generally will have a couple of hectares of rice along with it, but you know, in terms of the acreage, what she gets in terms of yield from the vegetables is much greater than she can get from rice. This is just showing a mechanical spray system that they use both for irrigation as well as for spraying the fungicide. This is a farmer that we visit with, and he's showing his productivity data, so that as he plants his particular crops and harvests them and sells them, he shows the difference between using trichoderma, not using trichoderma, and the result of coming from that. This particular farmer earns about $1,200 a year from the in this case it were eggplants that he was growing. These are rice farmers. These rice farmers, however, are growing rice for seed, and again, effective operation, and it's again, of course, a USAID sponsored program. This is input supplier. The Harvest Program provides agricultural suppliers, putting them in business so that they can provide supplies, needed agricultural supplies to the farmers. And this is a young lady who is operating such a supply store in the various supplies that she has. And she provides a variety of supplies that farmers then can come and purchase to help them in terms of the work that they are doing. There are a number of these around the country that serve the farmers. Again, to show you, this is another lady farmer, and this is in a long bean operation. This is just to show you, because the land in this area is pretty wet, and what you'll find is that many of the houses are on stilts, and of course that protects them from the wet weather, especially in the rainy season. This is an operation coming from the Harvest Program. Harvest is not a part of the IPM program, and they don't use the IPM techniques, though after some discussions with IPM, I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to use some of these IPM to greatly increase their productivity. What they do is they use raised beds, they use plastic, they use drip irrigation, they use a barrier that they claim, and usually corn, that they claim helps to keep insects from coming in. There's some question about whether or not that is effective or not. Again, a farm family that we visited with, likewise. This is a lady, and she has an operation, not just a vegetable operation, but they also have an aquaculture operation in which they're raising tilapia. And this will show you one of the tilapia ponds, and they get several crops a year. They get to maybe about a little less, up to about a kilo in terms of size before the harvest is and sold. And it's very productive. In fact, what they've said is that they're going to make more of these ponds in lieu of growing more rice. I want to sum up by making some recommendations and some observations. And first, I want to say that I can't say enough about the effectiveness of the Southeast Asia IPM CRIS. I think they're doing an outstanding job, and at least from my perspective, what I've seen is they are very effectively achieving their goals and objectives, and I can't say enough about that. The only issue I would say is that from what I saw in the reports that were being presented by the various teams is that I would like to see a little more science involved in what they're doing, particularly in trying to get a better understanding of the mechanism involved in which the effectiveness of the trichoderma is involved. I think that would help them in terms of some of the work they're doing. It is clear that the technique they're using with trichoderma is effective and environmentally sound way to control pests and disease in vegetables in Cambodia. The Cambodian farmers served were very receptive to the assistance provided. As I told you before, many of them were unable to effectively grow vegetables without this assistance, and in all cases they saw increased crop productivity and increased income. I would say also that I mentioned the Harvest Program, which is a large 5-year multi-million-dollar project that's funded by USAID with the FinTrack, a large NGO. And they're serving a large number of farmers in the country. They are now having some discussion between the IPM CRIS and Harvest. Harvest does not do research. IPM CRIS, they do research, so they can help each other. They can complement each other. And I was pleased to see that they're starting some discussions, and I certainly hope that they continue with those discussions, because they can help each other, and they can help the farmers more in Cambodia. I also saw that the IPM CRIS had started some initial discussions with the agriculture universities in Cambodia. The Cambodia program is younger. It's only 3 years old. The universities are involved in Indonesia and in Philippines. And so now they're beginning to start doing that in Cambodia. And I want to encourage them to do that. But I will say one other thing, and this is directed to USAID. In order for them to do that, they need more resources. And I would strongly recommend to you that you find a way to provide them with the additional resources that they need to continue to build strong programs and to get the universities involved. The other thing is that it was clear to me is that while the farmers are being served either by Harvest or by the IPM CRIS, they get great assistance, technical assistance to help them. They will not be involved with this for long. I think the farmers in the IPM CRIS will stay for about a year and a half or so. And then after that, they're pretty much on their own. And the question is raised then is who will provide them with the technical assistance that they will need when they run into problems? And I will say at the moment, from what I've seen, Cambodia, like a lot of other developing countries, they do not have an effective agriculture extension system. And this is badly needed because the progress that's being made, particularly with IPM and CRIS, cannot be sustained if that technical assistance is not available. The last thing I will say, and I think Susan's heard me say this before, is that we say a lot in USAID and we support it in BIFAD, is that the things that are going on in countries are country-led in terms of their priorities. I will say to you what I have seen in some of the areas and some of the missions in different countries is that is a goal that has yet to be realized. And part of it has to do with distrust of some of the country governments when it comes to the management of the resources that would be involved. And so in many cases, they're going around the government in order to get things done. And that may be a short-term approach to it, but it is not in the best interest in the long term. We got to find a way to build trust with the governments, hold them accountable, and get them involved, because we will not be able to really achieve the overall country objectives if this is not done. I want to give some acknowledgments of people that were extremely helpful. Finn Fuller, who's the mission director, John Bowman, I mentioned earlier, who is the program officer for the CRIS, Bill Bradley, who is the agriculture office, the IPM CRIS staff from Clemson University, and the harvest program staff, Keen Sophia, who works with the Minister of Agriculture, and he is the source of the trichoderma in the country. He is the only source of trichoderma in the country, and that raises another issue as well. I will say to you that you can't go to Cambodia and be in Siem Reap and be close to Angkor Wat and not go to Angkor Wat. So we did go to Angkor Wat, and so I want to show you a picture of that wonderful temple of temples, if you like, which they claim is one of the largest temples in the world, and just a couple of other slots to it. And with that, I will say thank you.